Hey guys, welcome back to another video, another stream. Apologize for being a little late. I'm still waiting for Kendall. I know that she was setting up, but I didn't want to have you guys wait any longer, so I messaged her that I was just going to start the stream, and then whenever she is available, I will add her into the stream. And until then, it's just me talking about football and answering your questions. So if you do have any questions that you want to get answered, feel free to pop it in the comment box, and I'll try to get to as many as possible. I was just like looking on Twitter, and I saw this crazy stuff about Liverpool with the false positives, and my mind is like absolutely blown. Okay, Kendall is here. I'm gonna add her to the stream. Hey Ken, sorry for starting. I just wanted to get it started. How's it going?
No, don't worry. It's my fault for being late. Don't worry. Are you okay?
I'm doing good. I literally just started the stream like 30 seconds ago, so no worries at all. How's it going?
Yeah, okay, not too bad. I've done nothing today. I've just sat and watched AFCON all day. Really, really bad. I've even got like my lounge like.
I was gonna say you look so comfy.
Like nothing. Honestly, it's so shocking, really. But yeah, all good, all the same.
Nice. I woke up at 7:30 this morning because every day I'm like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to work out and start my day off right. And every day I end up snoozing the alarm and I get up super late. And today I was like, no more excuses. I rolled out of bed. I was like, I was so tired. I don't know how I made it through, but I did it. I got it. And then now I'm just like, what have I been doing up for so long? It's not even that early, but it just feels early. Especially, I don't know about you, but like here the sun doesn't rise till 8:40. So
yeah, like, same here. It's very late.
It's so late, but anyways, we're here there's plenty to talk about. Before you joined, I was kind of just talking about like the Liverpool false positives, and I was like, what did you read to that story? Have you seen what's going on?
Yeah, I've read it today. Someone had posted saying that there was like an absolute minuscule chance of even one false positive. Never mind 13
or something.
Yeah. Never mind 13 false positives. It's like 0.0000003%. I mean, probably nothing will be done about it because what can you do now? But yeah, it's not great. It's not a good look. I don't think you can defend that personally because, again, if it was one false positive, I think there was like I don't know if it was in the Irish League or something like that. There was a case when it was all going on last year and there was a false positive and there was like investigations and everything about it. And this has been like it's been more than a squad's worth of false positives, so it does seem very, very dodgy.
The COVID outbreak, and they had to postpone the game.
It just seems a bit crazy to me, to be honest, for it to be that bad. I personally wouldn't have thought that they would have let it leak like that. The fact it was false positive, so I think that's even weirder. Like, if you were going to do that and you were going to fake it, then why is it
come out? To like say it in his press conference, like
it's just crazy. But yeah, it doesn't look good on them, and there'll probably be a lot of people asking for explanations now, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing to me, I think like I read that only Trent Alexander-Arnold like had actually tested positive, and they said I think at that point when they made that maybe they had like 3 squad players out like max, and so to then go on and say that you have like 13, I just find that like it's weird. It's very weird because we like Chelsea were forced to play with literally like half the squads. We had no subs. We were playing people that were half injured, like coming back from injury and like playing through injury just because they were like, oh yeah, you meet the minimum, and they wouldn't postpone the games for us. But for this, it gets postponed. I just find it a little shady. Not gonna lie.
It's very shady. Like, we were the same. So we had, before we got ours postponed at the end of December, we had like 2 goalkeepers on the bench and things just to fill the bench up. And then you get these teams who are faking, well, I'm saying these teams, Liverpool, who are faking positive tests just to get, well, it seems to get fixtures postponed. It's unfair, especially when other teams have really, really struggled through it, like yourselves, like Leeds, for example, who literally had to play so many youth players.
Did
So
you
yeah,
see the post from, sorry to interrupt you. Did you see the post from like Aston, I think it was Aston Villa that posted something like, oh, we've played like our youth team and given them all debuts or something because they legit like didn't have senior members
yes, I
available
remember
or
the FA
something
Cup,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. And it was like the verified account. I was like, oh my God, like
Oh my
yeah, it's
I
crazy.
quite like it when main accounts, like the admins of accounts, get involved though. Like I quite like it. I think it's funny.
I know. I love it. I literally love it. Do you think it has anything to do with Salah and Mane going to AFCON, or am I stretching here?
I don't think you're stretching. I think that's a valid point to put forward, because you would look at that and think that's probably why they've done it. Because when it all came down to it, they weren't going to miss too many games. I think it was going to be like 3 or something like that. But yeah, you would look at that and you would probably think that a game like Arsenal, they might not expect to go into that to win, like with them out. So they obviously wanted that gone. So yeah, that it does seem very, very, very strange around this time. It just, as you just said, you hit the nail on the head. It's all just very shady and very strange, and I hope that it gets looked into, because I do think it's unfair on other teams. But yeah, it's all very, very odd situation.
Yeah, for other teams to have to play through,
Yeah.
and then they kind of just get it postponed out of nowhere. I don't know. It's very, very weird, but I don't want to harp on it too long. There's plenty of other things to talk about. We saw some big FA Cup action. Maybe you don't want to talk about the FA Cup, but talk me through what happened in that Newcastle game.
Um, Not much really. Apart from the fact that we were absolutely terrible. I did not see anything. It was just such a stark contrast from the game against Manchester United, where I had said, like, on our last stream, I said I had a little bit more hope that we were going to stay up now because of the way that we played. It looked like the players had a little bit more desire. Honestly, I don't know what was going on at all, but it just, no one was interested. There was even a point towards the end of the game where, obviously, the fans go around and clap supporters and things like that. Not the fans, the players, sorry, go around and clap the fans. And everyone bar, I would say, 4 players went down the tunnel. Immediately didn't clap the players, the fans, sorry, didn't do anything like that. Kieran Trippier was shouting, who has been here 3 days, and he was shouting for the players to come back, and they completely ignored him. It didn't look good at all. I don't know whether there's a little bit of unrest going on because of the transfer window at the moment. Players probably feel like they're going to get pushed out eventually, or things like that. I don't know, but there was no excuse. Our goalkeeper was very poor. There was a lot of really bad performances all over the pitch, really. So, yeah, nothing that could be said. Cambridge deserved it in the end. They had that little bit of extra desire to win the game, which they did. And their fans were incredible as well. I think they had a couple of thousand fans at the game, and it was a full house. So, yeah, well done them. And we absolutely didn't deserve anything out of the game, to be fair.
No, that's so sad. I feel so bad when I saw that score. I immediately thought of you, and I was like, oh God.
It was just so frustrating, because like we had so many shots as well and just could not finish them. Obviously, there was a goal that was given offside, which Jacob Murphy scored, but yeah, we just couldn't finish our dinners. And we really need a striker in before Watford now, because Watford is, like, unfortunately, the position that we're in right now. It's literally our cup final, Watford now. If we can't beat them, I think our fate is sealed, kind of thing, at that point. So we've got Watford on Saturday. So yeah, we really, really need a striker in by then.
Do you think that that's going to happen, to have somebody in that quickly?
I don't know, because it seems to be, on the outset, it seems to be very quiet on the transfer front, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. It could be going on behind the scenes, things like that. But obviously, because we've gone from last week being rumor after rumor. Like there was literally like 5 rumors a day for different players last week, every single day. We've gone into this window now, and there's barely any. And I just think that there's like been a big difference. But that's not to say nothing's happening. We've had another bid rejected for a centre back today, which we wanted which was Botman from Lille. That bid's been rejected. So for me, that just means just move on from that target, because that's now a second bid that's been rejected. Lille asked for a certain amount of money. We gave them it, and they've still said no. So I think like just move on from that now. We haven't had a direct link with a striker, which that is what's worrying me, because it's very, very rare that the media doesn't at least pick up on a link for a transfer. I mean, the Danny Ings transfer in the summer was a strange one, because that happened all under the radar.
Yeah,
and it just got announced.
Yeah,
it was very strange, but that's a rare occurrence. So yeah, it is a little bit concerning, because I thought once Trippier had signed that, we would have maybe had another 2 in the next week or so. So we'll see where we're at. But yeah, hopefully a centre back and a striker by Saturday, and I might have a little bit more joy, I guess.
I bet they're going to be doing everything possible to try to make that happen, because Watford are like very close to you guys in the table. So it's really like a 6-pointer, because you can get 3 points on them, but then you can also prevent them from getting 3 points on you. So it is going to be a massive game. If it makes you feel better, like I know that Chelsea like to do their business like very much behind closed doors, and things will really only get out once they kind of like to say that it's okay to get out, I feel.
Okay.
So like with Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech, those came out of nowhere. It was like the rumor happened, and then a day or 2 later they were signed and they announced it. Obviously someone like Kai Havertz was like a massive deal, so that took a lot longer. We were all kind of like, oh, it's happening. But I feel like that does happen. So maybe, you only hear the links after it's almost more or less,
hopefully.
More or less certain. Let's see. Freddie says, I just deeped that I saw you, Elizabeth, on Premier League TV. That's proper goat. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was on last Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. It feels like long ago. Yeah. So I was on last week, and I go on every 3-ish weeks or so. They have me on, which is super cool. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for me on there, and give that feedback to them so that they invite me on more. I'm just going through the comments here. Somebody says, don't mention the FA Cup. Jamie says, Kendall, if Lascelles started, would you have progressed to the 4th round?
So Jamie's a Nottingham Forest fan, which is where we got Lascelles from. And I'm like everyone knows I'm very much like against Lascelles. Like I just think that we need to move on from him. So no, Jamie, if Lascelles can't score goals, and that's what we needed to do. So if he had started, no, I don't think it would have been any different.
Yeah, we have a lot of Newcastle fans in the comments, which is super cool. I'll just read some of them. Chad says, I personally don't think we're that bad until they scored. If we had a striker, we would have won. But when we have Murphy as a striker, we're never going to win. St. Maximin needs some competition. Do you agree that he should be dropped per this comment?
Yeah. The thing is, like, we don't really have anyone else at the moment, because obviously Wilson's injured. So we don't have like that threat up front. So for me, I probably wouldn't be dropping him right now, just simply because it's sad that it's come to a point where he's like almost untouchable, but that's just where we are right now. If we get a striker in before the weekend and he's eligible to play, I would maybe be thinking about dropping him. And if the game isn't going as planned, bring him on as like a threat kind of thing, an impact sub. But yeah, just at the moment, just simply because we don't have anyone else, I probably wouldn't be dropping him. But that he does deserve to be dropped after his performance on Saturday. It just wasn't like him at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it also, obviously, I'm not inside of the minds of these players or the staff or whatever, but it must be difficult to kind of like, whenever you have a transfer window and there's like a lot of rumors, it always causes some up unrest, because your position is essentially like under threat. Maybe you yourself are going to get loaned or sold, which by the sounds of what you've told me sounds like the case for a lot of players maybe in the summer. But still, I would think that they should kind of like come with the mentality of like, no, I want to show my worth. I want to show why you should be starting me ahead of whoever, and play positively and have that competitive mindset. That's just me. Wicked Dust says, I'm guessing the Botman deal went nowhere because Botman did not want to come to Newcastle. If he doesn't want to be here, then we don't want him. Plain and simple. What do you think?
He was liking a lot of things to do with him coming to Newcastle. It was his own account, it was his official account. He was liking loads and loads of posts. There was several reports from France, several reports from England saying that he was really keen on the idea of coming. But obviously, realistically, it's sad, but the player is not in control, especially when you're under a contract at a club.
Yeah.
It tends to be the owning club and the agent who deals with things. So unless he handed in a transfer request and asked to leave, then it's probably highly unlikely that it would be happening just simply through player power. So yeah, it's not necessarily true. I mean, I don't know what's true. You don't know what to believe really at this point. But yeah, if the reports are to be believed, he actually was really, really keen on the idea, but just obviously things haven't worked out from that point onwards.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Hopefully, you guys get someone in. We have a comment that says, "Sign a fullback, Marina." Oh wait, you're Elizabeth. I don't know if you know this joke on like Chelsea Twitter that I look like Marina Granovskaya.
I can see it. I remember you posting one day like a picture of like the two of yours, and I was like, you know what? Actually, I can see it. I can really see it, like a younger
It's
version
so
of Marina.
It's so funny because ever since I changed my profile picture on Twitter, like people have mistaken me as like a Marina Stan account. And they're like, wait, I had to do a double take because I actually thought that you were Marina. And so there's like this ongoing joke with people in the fan base that I'm like, Marina will do the transfers.
To be honest, it's not a bad comparison. She's absolute boss. I rate her
know,
so
right?
highly. Like that is a good thing to be looking at.
When I was at Stamford Bridge in October, we were actually like in a suite, and she was in like not the suite next to us, but the suite next to us. So she was like right there, and I was like, eh. Like her and Peter Check
Crazy.
just like chilling, and they were right next to us, and we were like trying to get their attention. I was like, no, not happening. But it was super cool. Yeah, I think like Chelsea do need a fullback because both of ours are injured.
Yeah.
For what I've read, it seems that we are trying our best to recall Emerson from Lyon. And I think that's Thomas Tuchel's first choice because he's worked with Emerson. He already knows what to expect.
Okay.
Instead of spending like 30 mil on a Digne or something like that. And from what I see, we're also looking at right-hand options as well. Maybe so. I'd say I definitely think we need the left side because like not even because it's Alonso and he's older and slower and not the same type of player as a Ben Chilwell, but just for anybody, you can't have them playing like week in week out, especially with the amount of games that we have, and we don't have anybody else that can realistically fill that spot.
Yeah.
So I think it's like an area that we desperately need to address because we've seen the results and how they've been going for us. Let's see. Chelsea people, like maybe this is crazy, but after Lewis Hall's performance in the FA Cup, could be a shout. It's not even his position, but I thought he did really well.
He did do really well.
He was so impressive, and he contributed for like 3 of the 5 goals or some ridiculous stat like that. So why not give him a go at that left-hand side? So, like honestly, I wouldn't mind it. This kind of goes in hand with this question. Should Chelsea sign a left back or promote an under 23? Yeah, I think we're going to try first to recall Emerson. The thing with an under 23 player, it's like they don't have the experience of playing week in week out at this like highest level, and you don't want to put that burden on them either to be like the one that fell into the shoes and make sure that you win Premier League games and everything. So I think that we're first going to look to try to recall Emerson, and if that doesn't work, then maybe we look to buying somebody, but I don't know. TBD. It'll be interesting to see what we get up to in this transfer window.
Yeah, because when you look on the surface of things, like in the summer, we were all saying, Chelsea's got the most complete squad. Like nobody obviously expected this many serious long-term injuries at one stage, especially in the same positions on both sides. That's just something that you just did not expect. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because obviously I would assume now the strategy's completely changed, because I wouldn't have assumed that really you were looking to do much business in January, maybe one or two if that. But yeah, I think the strategy's probably changed a little bit now, and you're going to look for specific deals, because I really just thought you were getting Digne. I really did. Obviously that's clearly not going ahead, and he's going to Aston Villa. So yeah, we'll see. But as I say, I think it'll be a different strategy going forward for your board now.
Yeah, something that I've been saying, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, is like Chelsea, we haven't even lost games really. It's just been disappointing because we've drawn a lot of games that we should have won, and we've really kind of just like let the title race completely slip in December. But something that I've been saying on my channel is that when you have such serious injuries like the ones that you have to Ben Chilwell, to Reece James, then you have the middle of the pitch. Jorginho, Kovacic, and Conte are all like in and out of the team. Kovacic just came back a few weeks ago, Conte as well. Like, it's not surprising to me that this happens, that these results happen, because I just feel that we've had so many serious injuries out that the complete what's the word I'm looking for, like not energy but like structure and how we play has changed, because now we don't have our squad of first team players, and we have different players that we need to adapt to their limitations and their style of play. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, because Tuchel is so reliant on tactics and a certain system, that it will have messed him up as well, because as you say, he has to keep adapting the system all the time. He has to keep putting players where they don't play. He has to keep putting players in that he probably wouldn't have wanted to use in a certain situation. So yeah, it's a little bit of a nightmare. I was just looking at your results there after you said that you'd drawn a few, and yeah, I'm just looking back now, and obviously you beat Leeds, that was really close. Everton 1-1, Wolves 0-0. These are games that you would be, I mean, I know Wolves have kind of kicked on lately, but these are probably games that you would be expecting to win at this point had you had your full squad back. Obviously Brighton 1-1, Liverpool 2-2. That's a thing, I guess. I don't know really.
Yeah, Liverpool
to win that. Yeah. So yeah, it would definitely be a case of you would be expecting to win those games with your full squad. So I don't know, maybe this window holds the key. But then the thing is, you've got to think, like, when I was thinking about Digne, I was like, it's quite a short-sighted deal from his perspective, because he's probably not going to be first choice fullback when everybody's back, because Ben Chilwell had such a good start to the season. Obviously, I know he's like out for pretty much the season now. Reece James is just
like October, I think.
Yeah, so like Reece James is like a shoe-in anyway, so he would just be back. So for Digne, probably long term it wouldn't have been maybe the right option anyways, because he probably will get game time at Aston Villa like most of the time. So yeah, it just depends. Emerson knows the team. He's played under Tuchel, hasn't he? Yeah, so he knows Tuchel. So it probably is an ideal move just to go back in for him. He might not be the one you realistically want long term or anything, but he doesn't have to be. So that would be the most ideal move to make, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that's I think what Thomas Tuchel is kind of like leaning towards as well, and it just makes sense for us not to outlay like so much money. Phantom of many topics is saying, why are we recalling Emerson? He's less talented than Alonso. I mean, last season I really like couldn't. Well, not last season. I think it was the season before we had Ben Chilwell. But I think Ben Chilwell had an injury at some point, and so we were like Alonso versus Emerson. And I honestly like did not have a preference between the two of them. Like, I did not have a preference. They brought similar things. I think maybe Emerson is a bit stronger defensively. Alonso maybe a little bit more creative. Emerson also has like a good shot on him as well. So I'm not surprised that Thomas Tuchel wants to try to bring him back when he has a player that he already knows. He knows how to coach. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses. He already is accustomed to the Premier League as well. So there's just like a lot of reasons why I can understand that Thomas Tuchel would rather go for Emerson. Any money that you don't spend on a left back, because you know that Ben Chilwell is going to be your starter, you know that you have talented academy boys coming in as well, that's money that you can spend elsewhere on the pitch too. Definitely. So like a lot of things to think about. Kind of like related to that says, I'm disappointed that Chelsea hasn't concluded any business so far, especially considering we definitely need fullbacks. Are you? I mean, it's only the 10th. Like, it's still early days. These things probably take a while to sort out. January is always a really difficult time to do business because teams don't want to let their players leave and not be able to contribute to them for the rest of the season. So you kind of have to find a player that like wants to leave. Maybe he's a little bit out of favor with the team, and that also fits into the Chelsea side that they are a good price as well. Like it's just there's like so many factors to take into account. So personally, I don't know. Like I'm not that I'm not worried about it because I do think that we need to sign fullbacks in order to like compete for the rest of this season. But I just think like it's going to I feel like it must surely happen by the end of the transfer window. So until it's like January 30th, I'm not going to be like too worried because I think we can make do. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, you guys aren't in a position to necessarily worry significantly either. Like for us, for example, like we literally need to sign players to stay up, whereas you guys, yes, you might need to sign players to win the title or stay in the Champions League or whatever like that, but that is not like a pressing issue right now, because you're okay at the minute, if that makes sense. So I'm definitely on. If I was you, I wouldn't be necessarily worried. And plus, your board is quite good at getting deals done that they need historically. So yeah, I think he'll be getting 1 or 2 in by the end of the window, definitely.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us to this next question from Hurricane. It says, will Man City win the league? Liverpool second. Do you think Arsenal and Spurs can finish above Chelsea? I do think that City are going to win the league, and that's why I'm not so worried about the Chelsea signings, because I feel like City have already won it. If I'm being completely honest, for them to have like a 10-point gap or whatever it is, like it would be really difficult for Chelsea or Liverpool to catch them at this point. Like they would really, really, really have to slip up massively, which I don't think is going to happen. And so I really just want signings for the Champions League now, and we have until February for that. So that's why I'm not so worried. But Kendall, what do you think about City winning the league and kind of what that like top 4 is going to look like if you had to pick now?
Yeah, I agree. I think Man City have won the league. It's sad that it's like people are conceding this early, but it's the way it is. As you say, it is a 10-point gap. It's not 3 points anymore. It's not, it's catchable, but only if Man City slip up, which is so highly unlikely that it almost is out of reach. I don't necessarily think Liverpool is a shoe in second either. I think now second, third, and fourth is going to be really, really close. Honestly, I just thought that it was you guys, Liverpool. I think a lot of people had you guys down as winning the league. You guys, Liverpool, Man City, and Man United. And now Man United have fell off significantly, and I don't think they've got time to really. They have got time to bring it back because they're not far away, but I just don't think now that they will do it. I think they'll make top 6, but I don't think they'll make top 4, which leaves obviously Arsenal and Tottenham. Arsenal, out of the two of them, look the better side at the moment. So I would be thinking that Arsenal may get there just simply because they've looked quite good when they've played, although yesterday they didn't. So that's the thing. You can either they looked fantastic against Man City, despite the last minute goal that made Man City win the game. They looked fantastic, but then they played yesterday and got absolutely outplayed on every part of the pitch by Nottingham Forest. So it's just, honestly, I just cannot explain how football is a game of 2 halves. Yes, Man City might have won the league already, but the rest of the league is completely up for grabs at the moment, including relegation. So, it'll be a mad season this season. But I like it like that because that's the competitive nature of the Premier League. I think that's the better side of it, really.
Yeah, I think right now, if I had to pick, it would be City. And then Chelsea and Liverpool are like very interchangeable for me right now. Maybe I'd put Chelsea second because I'm a Chelsea fan. Let my bias show a little bit. And then I think I would go like Arsenal, and then Spurs have been looking better than United recently. I don't know. I've seen that United are pretty like divided about the Ragnick signing and everything. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because I feel like they have just been like even struggling after his appointment. And like you said, anything can happen. For me, I'm kind of like bored that City, I feel like, are gonna win again. It's like, oh, another year, like please, like let me see somebody else win the league. It's just like the same thing every year at this point.
Like, how do they not get like say you guys, for example, have got serious long-term injuries. Liverpool, like last year, got long-term injuries.
Yeah.
How come they never seem to get like an injury that causes them an issue? Like, I know that this is like they're one of the best clubs in the world. Like, they're run really well. They've got a great manager. Obviously, they've got the best coaching staff and the best medical, equipment that you could get. But they just never have an injury that pushes them significantly back. And that's like, I don't want them to get injured, but it's just like, how do you manage to get away with that? Like, when other clubs around you struggle so badly with injuries, it's just, honestly, it's insane. They're just so elite. And yeah, Pep will done it again.
Done again. Let's see if they can get a Champions League though.
Exactly. That's still the last pinpoint, isn't it? Still the last pinpoint. I think it hangs over his head as well a little bit at Man City. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope not, just because that's funny, but
that's the last thing we need. That's the last thing that we need. I tell you, like when we played City in the Champions League final last year, I was just like what, I would have rather had any other team, because if we lost, I would have been so like, I would not have gotten over that. But I'm glad that we won somehow. And that still is surreal to think that we actually won the Champions. I didn't think I would see us winning it, like, I don't know, for years and years and years. So that was like the craziest experience.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, sorry, I'm beaming. Let me go through the comments. Balaam is asking, who can win the FA Cup and League Cup? Man City squad depth is good. So in the League Cup, we have Chelsea versus Spurs and Liverpool versus Arsenal left. And Chelsea obviously have like 2 goals up on Spurs, which could have had more. We could have had more. We didn't take our chances. We could have had this game to bed already. But who do you think's going to win the semis, and then who do you think will win the final for the League Cup?
You know what? I think normally you kind of can guess who's going to win. But this time round, again, because the league is so tight, I just don't think you can tell, like, at all, because obviously you and Liverpool are in the semis and you guys are fighting in the league, and then there's Tottenham and Arsenal as well, who are like fighting against each other in the league. So I just think it's crazy, because you really, really, really can't tell. So yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't even like to guess. I'm just thinking now. Tottenham are at home, right? So
yeah, Tottenham are at home. But we have a 2-0 advantage.
You're 2-0. I think you guys have got that tie then. For me, I just can't see them. I mean, I know they're at home, but I just can't see them coming back from that specifically. Because they would have to score 3 and you wouldn't have to score any. So I just can't see them coming back from that. And yeah, I think it'll be probably. You know what? Arsenal are quite good in the cups usually, despite yesterday. So they'll be wanting a point to prove now, because the FA Cup is usually their cup. So yeah, maybe you and Arsenal.
Interesting. I low-key hope that they beat Liverpool after the whole
exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. I don't know. Well, I hope that Chelsea win it. I don't know. We haven't, like, the last 3 FA Cup finals or something crazy that we've been in, we've lost, which is ridiculous. So maybe I hope that we can maybe get the Carabao Cup, maybe an FA Cup this season, because the Premier League is kind of out of the question for us this season.
You'll get a trophy at some, I think, this season. For sure, definitely.
I feel so bad, because I'm like, I want a trophy, and
I'm just happy to stay up. Go down.
Oh man. I'm just looking if you guys have like any last minute questions in the comments. Newcastle to sign Origi. What do you think?
I would take Origi. I said I want Origi, but they're not going to let him go because obviously Salah and Mane have gone to AFCON, so they're not going to let Origi go. I just can't see it happening unless they have a replacement, which has not really been on the radar for them. So yeah, I just can't see him going.
Yeah. Who would you like to see? We have a message from our comment. Sorry, from Stephen. Who would you like to see Newcastle go out and get this window? And Harry Kane says, "Can we have Trippier back?"
It's not even about the specific player. We really need a decent centre back. We need two really, but I think that's probably pushing the boat out at this point. We need a decent centre back and a decent striker. Obviously, like Ramsey and things have been mentioned lately. I would quite happily have taken Ramsey if that was going to be on the board. So yeah, it's not about really the specific player. We just need quality. We need to move on and get it done quickly now. And about Trippier, no, you can't. Because he's a Newcastle player now, crazily. And he just looked like, even when we lost on Saturday, he looked a different class to everybody else. Just the way he holds himself on the football pitch, the passes that he makes, the chances he creates, he looks a different class to everybody else we've got. So, yeah, we just really need to get the business done as soon as possible, to be honest, before this weekend.
I felt like he was a really good signing for you guys. Yeah. I thought there was like the types of signing that you guys would be looking for. But even, I thought that like he's a really good player. So it's amazing that he signs for you guys and is like trying to help you fight to stay up this season. And I think it shows like a lot of ambition from your board as well to say like these are this is like the level of player that we're really looking to go out and get, and then to go and do it, which was super cool. So
yeah, definitely for the fee as well. I mean, 12 million in this market is nothing really, especially for a player of Trippier's caliber, I guess, because a lot of people will look at him and they won't think he's all that. But I mean, he made La Liga team of the season last year. He assisted in the final for England in the Euros final. He is, an established England international. He won the league with Atleti last year. So yeah, it's just totally a statement of intent. But it's just getting. I naively thought that we would. Just signing him would set the ball rolling and we would have like a couple of others in by now, but obviously that hasn't occurred, that hasn't happened. As you said, January is notoriously difficult to get players in, especially of a certain caliber, because the clubs that they're at want to keep them, and I get that, but I was very naive going into this window, very naive.
I totally get you, but hopefully it will be a good window for you. And maybe next week we'll have some transfer news. Who knows?
I hope so. Please nice. put the positive vibes in the air, because we really need that. We really need it.
Oh my god, I feel ya. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm getting really hungry, so I'm gonna go make dinner. But Ken, thanks as always for joining. Guys, make sure to follow Ken.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, as always. Thank you for having me.
Nice, guys. Thanks for spending your evening with us for a bit. Make sure to sub to my channel, to follow me on socials and all that jazz. And we'll see you right back here, like around the same time next Monday, to talk about all of the Premier League action and any other game action and everything. All right. Bye.